So when you're flooded with vitamin D, you absorb the calcium, magnesium, and other nutrients. That's what vitamin D does for us.
Is that why they added vitamin D to milk, so that you could actually absorb more? Or?
Well, exactly, and that plus it eliminated rickets in kids.
Okay.
There's a disease they admit it eliminates, rickets in
That's
kids.
right.
Vitamin
Rickets
D.
has been cured by vitamin D.
Absolutely, and that's well documented, okay?
What's the other one? Scurvy was.
Yeah, scurvy as well was eliminated. But the bottom line is degenerative diseases are also eliminated with vitamin D, you know.
Like MS, you mentioned?
Yes, in the
Lupus.
book there's many scientists are saying that MS is a vitamin D deficiency disease.
Okay.
Did you know that on the equator, there is no MS?
No MS.
No lupus.
No lupus.
Now, the farther north you go, the more from the Canadian border to the Mexican border, prostate cancer goes up 400%. Did you know if you draw a line across the center of the United States, the center, the southern half has 1/3 the cancer that the northern half has? The northern half has 3 times as much cancer, all because of lack of sun, lack of vitamin D. And now there's all these researchers out here saying, God, get out in the sun because it's good for you. And yet, when I was on the show 6 years ago and said it, they want to put me in jail because the sun causes cancer.
Yeah, I was reading.
Now, you have to, that equates to God made a mistake.
Sure.
And I don't believe God made a mistake. I believe the drug industry is making a mistake.
Yeah, before the show, I was doing a lot of research, and I'd say almost 100% of the research that I read said that a majority of Americans are deficient in vitamin D. But recently, a government agency came out and said the complete opposite.
Oh yeah, but the government agencies are owned and run by the FTC and the drug industry. All these guys cannot be wrong, and there are thousands of them all saying that we're vitamin D deficient, and vitamin D deficiency has caused all these diseases and could therefore reverse all these diseases. And just one more thing, and that's about the sun. Scientists have proven that every square centimeter of skin, when you're out in the sun, produces 19 international units.
You know, aren't we supposed to protect ourselves from the sun and put suntan lotion because we're burning our skin? It's causing skin cancer. I mean, isn't that what's going on?
Yeah, but now all the scientists are saying that when you put on those skin blocks, you're actually inducing cancer and other diseases. Skin blocks cause cancer.
That's an unbelievable statement.
They prevent your sunburn. That's true. You do not want cancer. Enjoy God's. And the other thing you have to understand is when the sun hits your face, behind your eyes, your pituitary gland, pineal, and hypothalamus glands, and when the sun strikes your eyes, they trigger and start producing calcitonin, melatonin, serotonin, all these hormones and enzymes, all of which, if you go to biology books, you want because it'll keep you healthy and young. So all these hormones and enzymes are produced only from the sun.
From the sun. But
and yet the sun causes cancer. Avoid the sun like the plague. Oh, no more than 10 minutes, the doctor says. How stupid could they be? Because the same doctor will tell you you need melanin and serotonin.
And how else are you supposed to get it other than naturally?
Well, they'll sell you a chemical.
Sure. What are some of the telltale signs that someone is deficient in vitamin D or they're deficient in calcium? I mean, is there a biological, is there something that someone can actually tell? I mean, are you tired or?
Well, yeah, no. The very simplest thing to do is when you're deficient in calcium, calcium is a mineral that alkalizes your body. Okay. And when you're deficient in calcium, your body becomes acidic.
Okay.
And so with a penny's worth of pH paper, you put it in your mouth, and if you're acidic, that means you're calcium deficient and vitamin D deficient. Okay. And it works like a charm. And that's the simplest thing to do to tell if you're deficient.
So you hear a lot about this, and you know, I mean, is there really a lot of research out there? You hear this acid alkaline, you know.
Well, you have to understand one thing, biologically and chemically, that when your body pH is 7.4, it can absorb 100 times more oxygen than if it's down in the pH of 4 range, and which is very, very common with cancer patients. Now, Dr. Otto Warburg won 2 Nobel Prizes in medicine for cancer. The first one for proving the cause of cancer. And he said the cause of cancer was anaerobism, which means lack of oxygen, which he later said was caused by lack of calcium. Because the calcium makes the body go alkaline, and that alkalinity causes your body to flood with oxygen, which kills cancer. He then went on and developed formulations to increase your red blood cell count so that you would absorb more oxygen, and he scientifically wrote in his publications, he terminated cancer in 10,000 terminal cancer patients. And he won another, for which he won another Nobel Prize.
With just calcium? I mean,
Well,
really?
no, calcium and vitamin D, and he used other nutrients. I mean, I can get into it, but the whole point is alkalizing the body
Okay.
causes your body to flood with oxygen, and it's the lack of oxygen that causes cancer, lupus, MS, and diabetes. So if you get the oxygen back, you terminate these diseases, and that's basically what they're saying in this book.
Bob, hold on to that thought for 1 second. Folks, we've been talking with Robert Barefoot about his revolutionary new book entitled The Disease Conspiracy. It's actually not available in stores. It's actually only available on our show today, and it's absolutely free. You just pay a small shipping and processing charge. So pick up the phone and give us a call. Plus, when you do call, ask about how you can receive one, if not all of Robert Barefoot's books, absolutely free. Again, you just pay the shipping and processing. He's actually the author of 8 books. Some of these books have sold upwards to $30 a piece in the past. And the information in this book, I mean, he talks about, again, diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, MS, and even cancer, and they're actually being cured with natural remedies. He also claims that this information is being suppressed by government agencies. Again, folks, pick up the phone, give us a call. You really have nothing to lose. You can get all these books, one, if not all these books. Just pay the shipping and processing. Folks, this information will change your life. So pick up the phone and give us a call. Is there a reason why, naturally, other than the sun, the foods we're eating, how come we're not getting vitamin D and calcium just by eating normal foods on a day-to-day basis?
Well, as I said, calcium is the hardest thing to absorb. However, they made a discovery that coral calcium from Okinawa, Japan, the scientific Japanese scientists have determined that 75% of it is absorbable, the calcium, and 98% of the magnesium, and it's loaded with magnesium. And magnesium is just as important as calcium. So here you have a natural product which is 10, 20, 30, 40 times as absorbable as anything on the market today.
But isn't calcium, is it in our normal daily diet? Like if we weren't going to take a supplement like the coral calcium from Okinawa, is it in fish? Is it in meat?
Well, you could take the organic, like calcium citrate and stuff like that. You could take a ton of it. But here's the catch. All around the world, you can go and you can travel to the people that live to be 100. And these people don't have doctors. They're never sick. They don't have cancer. And they live to be 100. And there's 17 cultures around the world. There's the famous Azerbaijanis in Russia. There's the real famous Bamas in China, millions of them. And there's the Hunza men in Pakistan. You know, they don't have children until they're in their 70s when they're mature enough to have kids.
70s?
But they have a body of a 20-year-old. Oprah Winfrey did a show on Okinawa, which is another place where people live to be 100. There are 10 times as many centenarians in Okinawa as here. And Okinawans live 9 years longer than mainland Japan, which lives 9 years longer than us. That's 18 years longer than us. That's the average age. And why Oprah did the show was because a 100-year-old man did the job of a 20-year-old. They don't age. And the reason is Johns Hopkins University made the discovery in 1972 that your DNA, which replicates and produces young body parts, your DNA will only replicate if you smother it in calcium. And since you didn't have your milk this morning, your DNA doesn't have the calcium, you're growing older 5 times faster than God intended you. According to the Bible, Genesis 6:3, man shall not be immortal, but man shall live to be 140. And all over the world, we have people living to be 140. And what's the common denominator? They load up on calcium. Now, the Okinawans have what they call coral calcium, which is that tremendous stuff. The rest of the world, all they have is what they call milk of the mountains. You see, they all live at altitudes above 5,000 feet where it doesn't rain. So the only source of water is when the glaciers melt and the ground up rock comes with it in the springtime, and the water looks like white mud, and they drink it. We've analyzed that water. Each quart has 19,000 milligrams of calcium. That's 19 times as much as what's in milk. And it has 16,000 milligrams of magnesium. And you need almost as much magnesium as calcium to make this thing work. Holy cow. And they drink 5 quarts of water a day. They get 100,000 milligrams of calcium every day. And your doctor will tell you anything more than 1,000 could be toxic.
Well, yeah, what about like kidney stones? I mean, you hear...
Well, okay, let me explain that. But this toxicity things, my God, it's only toxic to the drug industry. The people who live there live without doctors. They don't have kidney stones. Now, a kidney stone or all the residue and plaque buildup that you have in your body is full of calcium. So the doctor, avoid calcium, right? But here's the catch. When you avoid calcium, your body has to go to the bones to get the calcium it desperately needs.
So what you're saying is
And the
they're not
reason-
getting enough calcium.
So what we tell people who have plaque and kidney stones is, if you don't want surgery, you got to do two things. First, you have to get out in the sun and let your pituitary gland, the sun hits your eyes, sends a signal to the parathyroids, and they produce the hormone calcitonin. And calcitonin searches the body, finds a kidney stone, takes the calcium out, disintegrates it, no surgery. And that's the sun.
That's an unbelievable statement.
The second thing you have to do is you have to take, I believe, coral calcium, because if your stomach is full of calcium and your body is flooded with calcium, your DNA is smothered with calcium, guess what? The body doesn't need to go to the bones to get it anymore, and so there'll be no more kidney stone production.
That's like,
all stones are produced from lack of calcium, not
That's-
from the calcium you eat.
that's counterintuitive. I mean, it's almost the complete opposite of what most doctors would say, wouldn't it? I mean,
Most doctors tell you the sun, that God made a mistake with the sun. They're wrong.
Okay.
And all the information that you get from doctors came from the drug industry and is geared to keeping you sick so they can keep making the hundreds of billions of dollars.
Bob, let's talk about the silent killer, diabetes.
Yes.
What can vitamin D, or what do you have to say about vitamin D in your book as it relates to diabetes?
Well, diabetes, how do I say it? I've dealt with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of diabetics, and they're all absolutely ecstatic after getting on a nutrition program.
Okay.
All because most of the symptoms are eliminating. Many of them come to me and say, hey, no more diabetes. But diabetes, according to many of those research, is a vitamin D deficiency disease. There you go once again. They study it and they say, and in fact, when they do your vitamin D checks, those who are really deficient in vitamin D usually get diabetes.
Really?
So there's all kinds of information out there to indicate the vitamin D. And remember, vitamin D and calcium are partners. They go hand in hand. So therefore, they're also calcium deficient.
Didn't you say that you earlier had mentioned that calcium and vitamin D, you can't? It's almost impossible to absorb the calcium without the vitamin D?
Well, no, it's not. It's just that with the vitamin D in your body, you absorb 20 times as much. And boy, you need the calcium, so why not take in 20 times from with the same diet?
Bob, here's the real question. Why are you coming on TV and actually giving your books away for free? Because I know that you've sold millions of books, and each one individually have sold for upwards to $30 a piece. Why are we giving the books away for free, Bob?
Because my goal is to cure America, to end disease, to end cancer, to end lupus, and I can't stand the idea that my grandchildren, your grandchildren, are all destined to have this disease. 40% of Americans will have or get cancer. That's as of 2011. They figure by
40%.
They figure by 2020 it'll be 50%. By the end of this century, it should be 100% of us will get cancer, and we can end that today. We can wipe disease out in America in a year, if allowed, but it's against the law to cure disease in America.
And we can do that naturally, and the information is in your books.
Yes.
Bob, it's been an amazing show. I'm sure we'll have you back. Folks, we've been talking with Robert Barefoot about his revolutionary new book entitled The Disease Conspiracy. It's actually not available in stores, and it's only available on our show today, and it's absolutely free. You just pay a small shipping and processing charge, so pick up the phone and give us a call. Plus, when you do call and place your order, ask how you can receive one, if not all of Robert Barefoot's books, absolutely free. You just pay a small shipping and processing fee. He's actually the author of several books, I believe a total of 8 books. Some of these books have actually sold for upwards to $30 in the past. He's giving them away absolutely free, so pick up the phone and give us a call. The information in these books, he talks about diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, MS, and even cancer are not only being cured naturally, but the information is actually being suppressed by the government, by non-government agencies. Again, these books are absolutely life-changing, so pick up the phone and give us a call. Bob, again, it's really been an amazing show. Thanks for being my guest.
You're welcome.
My name is Michael Alden, and we'll see you next time.